Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. As soon as you jump in, please share the live. As soon as you jump in this morning, please share the live. I hope to not be too long. I really want to take a little time to discuss the social grants that are available for COVID-19. Some of the social grants that are available. So as soon as you jump in, please share the live. Let me also take this opportunity to share with a couple of the groups that I am in so that more people can hear this. How are you all this bright and early Monday morning? Again, as soon as you jump in, please share the live so that others can view. As soon as you jump in, please share the live. We are here this morning. I'm here this morning after doing an interview this morning on Channel 5. I actually just spent quite some time listening to an interview from a Tobago or Trinidad and Tobago scientist who is in the US somewhere about vaccines, and it's really interesting hearing her repeat some of the exact same things that I'm repeating. So it was it's very interesting for her to validate some of the things that I say, and for me to hear somebody else give their perspective on some of the questions that we have going around and so forth. So good morning, everyone. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time this morning going through some of the COVID-19 social support grants that we have to help you walk through the process. I am going to try walking through the process myself now to see how it works in real time. So you are going to learn with me as we go along. I have actually worked with some of my friends and some of my some residents in my electoral district. So I helped like some of them yesterday and that kind of thing. So we see some of the hiccups that people get. So the aim is to really try to help as many people as possible deal with these hiccups and just deal with these hiccups. Hi, good morning, Carlin. Is that how you pronounce that? Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for jumping in. Again, as soon as you jump in, please share the live. Morning. Thank you all so much for tuning in. The aim this morning is to look at the social support grants that are available. And good morning, Anna. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, I do what I have to. Good morning, Pastor Beans. How are you? Yes, we have to keep doing what we have to do. We have to keep doing everything that we need to do. So as soon as you jump in, please share the live. The aim this morning is not to be very long. The aim is to identify the two kinds of grants that are available from the public system. Good morning, Portia. How are you? Thanks for joining. As soon as you jump in, please share the live. The aim is to identify the two forms of grants that are available in the public system and to help you walk through those grants. Of course, now that the regulations are here, now that the state of emergency is here and so forth, we realize that a few more people are now at home since we have all of these industries that have been shut down. A few more People are home. Thanks, Anderson. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for jumping in, and thanks for appreciating what I do. Thank you so much. So, a few people are home. Not a few, quite a bit. People are home. And they need help filling out the forms. They need help doing what needs to be done. So, my aim here this morning really is to walk you through what those forms are and that kind of thing. So, first thing is, there are two different social support grants that are currently available in Trinidad and Tobago for the COVID relief. There are two forms right now. There are two different kinds of grants that are currently available if you have lost your job or if you've lost income because of COVID-19. Okay, so it's important to know that you have two different grants that you can apply for. One of those grants works if you have been employed somewhere. Hi, morning, Megan. How are you? How are you? How are you? Just plug Megan was our candidate for Mount St. George Baccalaureate. Megan is still out there getting hampers and fixing people's business as if she won the seat. So let me just say thanks, Megan, for all of the hard work that you continue to do. So there are these two grants. One you apply for if you were employed with an organization that was paying NIS for you. That grant goes to the Ministry of Finance. Okay, that grant goes to the Ministry of Finance. And that is known as a salary relief grant from the Ministry of Finance. I'm going to show both websites shortly. So that is if you were a situation where you were paying NIS, a situation where somebody was paying NIS for you, and because they were paying NIS, you now have access to the grant from finance, because one of the things you need to do is put in your NIS number. Okay, that's one of the things you need to do very early up to get access to that grant. The other grant is for people who have not been getting NIS, who have not been paying NIS. So those people may, for example, be self-employed and you were not paying NIS. So maybe you were selling food or, whatever. You were just self-employed and you were not paying any NIS grant. You were not paying any NIS contributions, right? So there are these two different ones. And the one that is the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, I think it's called, and that is the grant if you are not paying NIS. Both of these grants need to be submitted electronically, meaning you need to do it either on your laptop, on a computer, or on your phone. You need to do it either on your laptop, on a computer, or on your phone, right? They are not accepting any paper applications anywhere. There is no form that you could fill out and drop anywhere. No, it has to be submitted via the website, right? In addition to it being submitted via the website, you have to also submit supporting documents via the website. So you will come to the end and you would see where this says upload your ID card, upload your business registration, upload the recommenders letter verification, upload. So you need to be in a situation where you have those things, whether you have a picture of them, you have a PDF of them or whatever, and you are able to upload those documents. You all, to be honest, I kind of find that this process is very, very laborious. It is for people who are already having a hard time. It is just an additional burden, I think, but I don't know. I am not in charge. So my aim today is just to help you go through the process, right? So let me start sharing my one page. Hi, morning, Wendy, and thanks for joining. As soon as you jump in, please share the live. Yes, Megan. Well, we all work as a team, so it's part of what we do. So let me first share the page for the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance one, that is the one where you have been paying NIS. You've been paying NIS, and you've been paying NIS, and you are eligible for $1,005 if you lost your job with effect of May 1st, and you get $1,000 for anybody who was affected after the 8th of May. All right, so let me just share my screen thus far. Hi, morning, Shanda, how are you? Blessed day to you too. Let me share. Share screen. Let me make sure I have the right one. Chrome tab. And we are doing the Ministry of Finance one. Here we go. So when you get onto the Ministry of Finance website, this is the one, and let me write the link for the Ministry of Finance website in the chat so that you see it. Just give me a second. Let me find that link so that you see it. Again, this is the one that is the Ministry of Finance. This is the one if you have a NIS number and your employer has been paying NIS for you, this is the one that you can apply to. And let me click the site here, put it in the comments here. So this one is the NIS portal.finance.gov.tt. Okay, that is the website for this page that I am showing you. As you are seeing, this is the finance.gov. This is the Ministry of Finance one. Ministry of Finance, right? Okay. When you get to that page, it lets you know that this is their COVID-19 relief measures for anyone who has been affected and have not been able to work during May. It is telling you that it's for persons in the formal NIS system, which is administered by the Ministry of Finance. You get $1,005 for those who've been affected from May 1st. And you get $1,000 for those who've been affected after May 8th. And it's only for May 2021. I think the deadline for applying for this is the last day of May. Okay? Remember that this is different from the one by the Ministry of Social Development, and it is saying that you must not apply for both. So if you can apply for one, if you apply for this one, you cannot then go and apply for the second one. To start, and this is where I'm starting here so that you have some of this information. To start with, it is saying that if you are starting a new application, so it's a process where you can start and then go back, right? So you can start, and then if you haven't finished, you save what's there, and then you go back. So if you start and you're not finished, don't worry, you can then go back at a later time. It says before you start, you need to know the following. You need an email address that has not been used by any other person. And I'm telling you, this is critical because, for example, last time when we did the social support grants and so forth, the last time that we were able to do it, people like myself, Assemblyman Farley and so forth, what we did is for people who did not have their own email or people who did not have access to a computer and whatnot, We submitted it using our official THA email addresses or whatever, and sent several of them using one email address. I also know people who were working within the Division of Social Services, for example, who they were submitting applications. So when you had put your thing in the paper and drop it by social services and they were uploading it, they were sending it using their individual social services or Division of Health email addresses. This is not allowed this go around, because each person has to use their own email address to put in the information. So you need your own email address, and you also need the following: valid form of picture ID, which is a national ID card, a passport, or your driver's permit. But if you are using your driver's permit, you also need to have a scan or photo of your birth certificate or proof of residence. You're all hearing me? So if you can use your national ID, your passport, or your driver's permit. But if you are using your driver's permit, you need to have either your birth certificate or a proof of residence, which is like a utility bill or something, if you are using your driver's permit. If you are using your national ID card or your passport, you do not need to provide a birth certificate, a proof of residence. You also need to show your last pay slip. You need to show your last pay slip. You need to also show a recent statement from a financial institute, whether it's a bank or a credit union or whatever, or unit trust, not more than 3 months ago. And it has to clearly show your name, the institution name, and your account number. And they are doing all of this so that when they put the money into your account, they want to make sure they are putting it into the right account, so forth. For persons who do not have a bank account or whatever, they said disregard it. I guess those people, they will call you and give you a check. I don't know. I don't know how you will get it if you do not have a bank account. And you also need a letter from your former employer verifying that your last employment was you lost employment in May due to your COVID-19 restrictions. There is also a employer verification letter template where they said this is what your employer needs to show. This is what your employer needs to show. And let me pull up really quickly. Let me stop share this and let me pull up really quickly what the template looks like so that you know what they need to show. This is the employer verification letter, and it needs to have your insert company letterhead there. It needs to be listed employer verification letter, particulars, the company or employer name, the address, telephone number, employer NIS registration number, the nature of the business, and it has to say, I certify that Miss, Mrs., whoever, whatever, whose national insurance number is, whatever the number is, was employed at the above named company and was terminated, suspended on whatever date it was as a result of the COVID-19 health and safety measures. And they need to put in their name, the company stamp, their position, their signature, and their date. So you need a letter from your company if you are using the Ministry of Finance salary relief. So this is the letter you would have. This is a template of what you give your company, and they then do a letter like this for you. They send it back to you. You have it on electronic. You have it electronically, because remember, all of these things need to be uploaded electronically. So you either have it as PDF or you take a picture or something like that so that you can upload it electronically. To me, the easiest way to do this, because you don't want a situation where you have to get up and go find your employer, blah, 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 is if you have your email address, send them this verification letter template. So they do up a letter like this for you, whether they sign it or they they however they think, whether they scan it, they take a picture of it, whatever it is they do, they send it back to you via email or via WhatsApp or however, so that you can then upload this into your application. Okay, you can then upload it into your application. So let me stop sharing this screen now and let me go back to the other one where we were looking at the application process. Ministry of Finance. Right. So that was when I clicked download employer verification letter, the letter that I just sent you. That is what came up, right? If you are starting this for the first time, and I'm telling you this one, I've actually kind of gone through and then I stopped and and I'm doing it now from scratch so that you see what you see the process from scratch. Desron is asking, what if you are self-employed and you do not have a pay slip? If you have been paying NIS, because that is the great difference. If you have been paying NIS for yourself, then you need to create your own documentation, because you might have a company where you are, you may have 1 or 2 people working for you, you've been paying NIS for them and so forth. So you use that. If you are self-employed and have not been paying NIS or any of that stuff, then you are not going to qualify for this grant. You are going to have to apply to the Ministry of Social Development grant, which is what I would show you shortly, right? Kay is asking, you like to know how you're scanning. I assume you mean how you're scanning it. If you have a scanner, you can scan it. If you have your cell phone, you could take a picture of it. You could, thing it and line it up properly and take a picture. There are also apps on your cell phone that you can use to take a picture and it converts it to PDF. So just search picture to PDF app on your phone, and there are apps that allow you to scan and it scans it into PDF onto your phone. Or you could try to get somebody to help you. I know it is very, very, very thing. So, okay, so let me go back to this. So you start your application. And when you, for this Ministry of Finance one, when you start your application, when you click on it, these are the questions that you will be asked. There's a home, there's a FAQ, and so forth. You ask fields. What is your citizen status? I am a citizen, right? Did you lose employment, suspended or terminated as a result of COVID restrictions in May? I would say yes, because I want to show you what's going on. Do you have a NIS number? The answer is yes. In what sector were you employed? I will just pick the first one because that is just the first one that's there. But it includes amusement park, bars, casinos, cinemas, food, gaming, hairdresser, nightclub, preschool, retail outlet, sporting, other. And then they ask you to put in your name, put in my name, put in my last name. And then this is critical because you need an email address to do it. And you need to put in, and it ticks there to show that it recognizes it as a proper email address. You put in your password, and I am just going to use a, let's see, confirm. Hopefully I remember that. These fields match. Are you telling me it doesn't match? Oh gosh, let me try again. Right. So the two have to match. I confirm that the information provided is correct and I agree to the terms of the portal. Click show your password if you want to make sure and see it so that you know what you put in, so that you remember it. Because remember, as I said before, if you do not have all of the information, or if you have not been able to complete this in one go, you can come back to it at another time. And then you hit submit. You see it is processing. It is asking me if I want to save. And I have been successfully registered. right? Thank you for your interest in the relief. To proceed to the application, you must verify your email address as provided. An email has been sent to my email address. So you now have to go to your email, and let me go to my email address now and see if it is there, which you will not see on screen because I am not sharing that part of it. An email did come from the Ministry of Finance telling me that that it has been used, and I have to now click on this, and it's saying let me stop sharing this page now. Let me stop this one, and let me share the other page that came up, which was the verification that I got. Lost my job last year locking down, but locking down was paid, and they were paying NIS. Yes, I do know it was scanning that you mean. Cassie, thanks for Adobe app, works fine for that. Great, great, great. You said you lost your job last year, lockdown, but did they pay NIS? If they paid the NIS, then you should, I would say you should try again this time. Share screen, let me share where it was now. Verification. So this is what, when I went to my email, I got the email from them. This is what came up that says email verification successful. Thank you for verifying your email. You may start your application now. So you start the application, and it goes. Check for saved data. So here we are, application, general information, financial information, supporting documents, declaration, and signatures. The general information you put in, the name is already there, the last name is already there. You could put in your middle names and your maiden names if you wish. You put in your address, say where you are from. Bell Garden is here, coincidentally, so you have to drop down to find where you are. It seems to have all of the different villages, areas from thing, your postal address if it is different from above, and your national insurance number, right? Your national insurance number. You also need to put in your valid identification number. So if you are using your ID card, so it's telling me above this is a required field, I have to go get my NIS number. Your national ID card, your ID card number, and the expiration date. And you see it's telling me, because I have not put in that information here, that these are required fields. As it says, your national ID is the preferred form of ID. If you do not have it, then you have to use your driver's permit. But you also need to submit your birth certificate or proof of residency. Your gender, female, date of birth. Let's see, my birthday actually just went April 15th, 1978. 1978 is my birthday. Yes, people, I'm still accepting birthday presents. Telephone number, email address, last occupation. So, I don't know, cook. Name of employer. Let's see. Let me just write Breb's Bakery because I can't think of any other than last date of employment. And this is where you could put in, let's say, the Friday of last day of April was my last day of employment. And you see it actually checked there, because if you put in a date that is, I don't know, it actually gives you a check mark to say, well, yes, this is something that is important. This is something that fits. It then asks, have you applied for the income support grant from the Ministry of Social Development? Because remember, I told you that you could only apply for one. You could only apply for this one from the Ministry of Finance or the one from Ministry of Social Development. Yeah? So it is asking me, did I apply for this one? If I say yes, then when I go down a little further, it will tell me, it will probably kick me out and say I don't approve. If I say no, which is what I'm going to say, then thing. It's also telling me there are some errors before submitting the form. I am going to put save progress so that it saves what's there. And this is a critical part. Whatever you have done before make sure you save it so that when you come back a little later, you can continue the process, right? So this is all that I've put in for general information. It is saved. I could click on financial information because I want to just show you the kinds of questions that they're asking. And you realize even though all of my general information was not in there, because I still need to put in my number, my ID card number and whatnot, I could actually flick over to number 2, financial information, and fill in as much as I can, because you may not have your information right there at the time and you want to go back and get it. You could fill in as much as you can in the time being and then come back. So financial information. Applicants must have an account for payments to be deposited. Applicants, the account must be in the name of the applicant, whether individual or joint. So this one is now saying that you have to have a financial institute. Do you have a financial institute, whether it's a bank, credit union, whatever? The answer is yes. Now that you say yes, you realize other things pop up. It is a savings account, the name of the bank, FCB, the address of the bank. It's again telling me it's required, the city, the account number, transit number if necessary, and again I can save progress. So when I come back now, I do not have to start from scratch because that has already been submitted. Let me go to 3 now so that you see supporting documents, and this is critical. The supporting documents, because this is where you have to upload files from your employer and from different things to prove. Last employer national insurance registration number. This information should be provided by your employer's verification letter. So the letter that they give you should have their national insurance registration number written on it. I'm telling you this because this is critical, because if you don't have this information, it is going to make the process harder. It's going to delay the process. This is going to think. Yeah. K is saying in this part, if you haven't seen this email confirmation in email, you can go to spam or junk. Right, exactly, because it may have been sent to you, but you have spam protection, so it may be in your spam or in your junk mail. So it's important to go there to look for it. Yes, thank you for throwing that in. Thank you. So this is where you have to upload, and it says all files uploads should be in image, so JPEG or PNG or PDF. So it tells you. So if you take a picture, the picture most likely on your phone is a JPEG picture, or it's a PNG picture, or you could have it in PDF. So those are the only 3 options that it is accepting. Each file should not exceed 10 millibytes. So please ensure that the images are legible. And you have to submit your identification, national ID, DP, or passport. So you select file and you go to your laptop, you go to your wherever that picture is saved there. So for example, I had to send my ID to somebody because in the Ministry of Social Development one, they need a recommender, and I am the recommender. So I had to send my ID. So this is one thing that already has my ID there. So it's telling me Dr. Faith ID PDF because I had already saved that and sent it to her for her to upload in the thing. Your employer verification letter. Remember, this is the letter that your employer has to write to you, right? And there was a template that I already showed you. The statement from your financial institution, no older than 3 months. This is to show that the correct name on it, the correct account number, and all of that. Your last pay slip, and save progress. So as you see now, whatever I've put in has been saved. It has not been submitted yet because there's still plenty information that I need to put in, but it has been saved. And the last section is the declaration and signature. which basically says you may sign or make your declaration by either physical signature to download a declaration form, sign and then upload it as a scan or photo, or you may do an electronic signature using your mouse or your fingers if you have a mobile device that allows you to do that. So you could say physical signature. When you say physical signature, you have to you could download the form, and it's now telling you download declaration form. So you download the form, you sign it, you then scan it or take a picture of it, and then you have to upload it back again. Okay? And in the end, I confirm that the information on this form is true, complete, and accurate. Save the progress, which I've done now. I'm doing now. And so forth. So again, this is the Ministry of Finance Salary Relief Grant. Ministry of Finance Salary Relief Grant. As I said before, you can start filling as much as you can, go and collect the rest of the information you need, and come back. Let me show you that part. So you log out. When you're done, everything is saved. This is actually a redirecting page that it's showing you. It's redirecting you. So in 10 seconds, let's just do the countdown. In 10 seconds, it would take me back to the original page that I went to. And here it is. And now we have a situation where, remember, this was the first page I showed you. I already went through this part, but now that I started and continue, I now put in my email address. What smells like this is burning? And my password. I hope I remember it. Submit. Oh Lord, oh Lord, my goodness. Oh Lord, well, please correct errors before submitting this form. I can't remember what was the password I just used. Let's try one more time. What something smells like it's burning? Something smells like it's burning. Let me go check that because I have no idea what smells like it's burning. Anyway, if I had remembered what the password was, it would have taken me back to the thing. It would take me back to the original thing where I could complete filling out this information. Right, so word to the wise, remember your password. Stop. So let me come back here. All right. Hi, Miss Cora. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Actually, somebody else do it and let me know if they had problems with their password, because I know that there were some situations where the passwords, where there were issues. So I don't know if this is just a me problem, because I could have sworn I remember what password I just used. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? Who knows? I wonder if I also had to use a different password for thing. Right. So anyway, so any questions about that thus far? Important, remember you only use that one if you are doing the one where you have NIS, where you've been paying NIS, and you have so because this one is coming from the Ministry of Finance. The second one, and I'll show you the page for the second one, is if you are doing it from the Ministry of Social Development. So let me share that page. Let me send you the link here, and then I would share that page. Let's see. Let me find the link. I'll put it in the comments so you see what page that is, and then I would share that page with you. Comments here. So the one from the Ministry of Social Development, it's grants.social.gov.tt. That is the page you go to. If you are not working in a place where they have been paying NIS for you, and maybe you were self-employed, maybe they were not paying NIS for you, because we realized last time that there were many, many people who were working who thought their NIS was coming out and all of that. And then when they tried applying for the grant, they realized, holy crap, my employer has not been paying NIS for me. If it's a little mom and pop shop that has not been paying NIS and so forth for anybody, probably not even themselves, then you need to go to the Ministry of Social Development grant. And again, let me show you that one. Ministry of Social Development. This is the website you go to, grants.social.gov. And it says here COVID relief form. You click on that. And again, there are 3 questions. Are you all seeing the questions coming up? Yes, I just wanted to make sure that there are 3 questions. Do you have a NIS number? Are you a citizen or resident? Do you have a Trinidad and Tobago issued identification card? And let me show you one little trick. If you have, even if you have, you may have an NIS number, but you have not been paying NIS. If you put yes, that you have a NIS number, yes, you are a citizen, and yes, you have a Trinidad and Tobago ID card, and you hit submit, it will tell you that you do not qualify. Please proceed to the NIB to apply for the other one that I was talking about. If you hit yes, you have a NIS number, it will make you not qualify. If you put no, you do not have a NIS number, yes, you're a citizen, yes, you have a national ID, and you hit submit, it tells you you qualify to fill out the form, and please read guidelines carefully before filling form, and you hit proceed. You hit proceed. So it seems like for this one, as long as you have not been paying NIS, even if you have a NIS number, you need to hit no, because it will tell you you do not qualify. Guidelines. To qualify for this, you must have lost your income on or after May 1st in accordance with the public health thing. You realize it says on or after May 1st. Only persons who do not have a NIS numbers and were employed in the following sectors should apply: bar, restaurants, people who sell or offer food for sale as a street vendor, retail establishments, gaming industry, entertainment industry, tourism industry, spas, so hairdresser, barber, blah, blah, blah. To ensure that the application is processed swiftly, you must enclose copies of the following documents when submitted your application: copy of your national ID card, not your driver's permit or your passport. So you must submit your ID card. You must submit a letter from employer with the official company stamp. Please state the last day of employment for which the employee was paid. Click on the icon to download the employer form. So I am thinking, if you are in one of these categories and you worked somewhere, you have them complete this form. If you are self-employed, you complete this form as if you are self-employed. So let me download the form. Let's see here. You are not seeing my screen, so let me stop share this one and let me share the one that just popped up when I hit download. You all saw me hit download, so let me share that screen now. This is the form. You have to put in, as you see here, COVID-19 social support for employed persons, name of employer, designation, whatever is the name. You could type in, if you're using a laptop, you could type it in Normal, I think it also works if you're using a cell phone, but it seems to be way easier if you're using your computer. Designation, meaning what are they? Are they the owner? Whatever. Their contact number, the business name, business address, name of employer, middle name, last name, national ID, the job title, name of employee, I mean not employer, employee. So this is the person who's applying for the grant. Their job title, the last date of employment, employment certification. I certify that the aforementioned information is true and correct. Signature of employer or designated representatives, the business stamp, and the date. So this is what you have to fill in, or the employer has to fill in. If you were in any of those categories and you are applying for the non-NIS related grant, this is what they have to fill in. Let me stop sharing that and go back to the original screen. So that is what came up when I downloaded here. Click to download employer form. If you are self-employed, applications must be supported by one recommendation from a verifiable source. And you see the guidelines. There's a list of the recommender must be a minister of religion, managing director of a bank or some other company, a professional like a doctor, attorney, whatever, a member of parliament. I mean, they forget THA, but I've been doing it anyway because I know they're really meant to include THA. A notary public, senior public servant, who is at range 46 or above, a police officer, prison officer, fire sub officer above a certain rank, member of defense force, or a school principal, lecturer, graduate teacher, and so forth. So those are the people who need to fill in the recommendation from a verifiable source. If it's self-employed, you also need to submit 2 forms of documentary evidence to show that you are engaged in self-employment. 2 forms of some kind of evidence to show that you are self-employed, you are actually engaged in this business. That includes certificate of registration for the business, a valid food badge if you are selling food, invoices or bills from suppliers, and they only want for 2021, rent receipts, for example, if you have to pay rent for the business place, and they only want for 2021. So if you have been out of work since before 2021, this does not apply to you, or any other documentary evidence no older than 2021. They also need a copy of the recommender's ID. Any picture ID must be submitted. So like yesterday, I actually did this for a couple people. And this is the form that I had to fill out for them. Again, let me stop sharing that other screen. Let's see here. Stop sharing this one and let me share the recommendation form, which is the same form that we kind of had to do last time. Just now, let me find it. Where is that form? Right, form of recommender. So roadmap for applicants. Let me share. Roadmap for applicants. Here we are. So this is for somebody who has been self-employed to be completed by the recommender. In this case, I am the recommender because I am the member of parliament, the member of Tobago House of Assembly. Name in block letters, gender, job title, contact information, email address, home address, recommender's certificate. I certify that I have known Miss or Mrs. and you could put in the person's name, for how many years Mr. and Mrs. was employed as a whatever. So we put their name again and they have been employed as a cook, and I certify that the information is correct. Put in your signature and your stamp. And I was then able to save this on my laptop, save it as PDF, send it back to them for them to then upload into their upload into their application. Okay, so all of this is what you need to get to the application. Let me again go back to share the screen, Ministry of Social Development. Right. Again here, recommendations for a recommender. You have to know them for over 3 years, for at least 3 years. The recommender must not be an immediate relative, and the recommender must be a citizen with these characteristics and so forth. If you need help, call this number or send an email there. All false and misleading information in this application will be reported to the police. And then once you realize that you have all of these things now, then you hit next. And you can then start putting in the information to be filled in. Put in your name, surname, gender, female, male, address, contact number, email address, card number, national insurance number, which, if you realize this is not highlighted as red, because in this case, you should not be having a national insurance number. Your national ID card number, put in your tongue, city, employment classification, either you're an employee or you are self-employed, effective of which date of birth, your job title, select sector info. And this is where it becomes critical, because I know people, for example, who have lost their job because of the COVID relief, but they don't fit in any of these. So people, for example, who are in the construction field. If you are in the construction field, there is no thing for construction here. If you are in, that's one that I could think of automatically. If you are in the medical field, so for example, actually somebody was telling me about an individual who is working as a dental assistant. If you are working as a dental assistant in the public health field, in the health centers, you continue to get paid even if you are not doing your full duty. But if you are a dental assistant and you are in a private dentist office and that private dentist is closed, then this does not apply to you. So that is one of the main problems that I am seeing with this, where the sector is limited. And then they're asking you, do you want a check or do you want direct deposit? Check is if you don't have a bank account. Direct deposit is if you have a bank account, and then you put in your banking information, FCB, Scotia, whatever, your branch, and then your account number. And then you could hit next, realize even if I have not completed the information, it is still there. Employer, business name, address, and so forth. Hit next. Recommendation person, the name of the person who doing the recommendation, the surname, gender, title, contact information, all of that information. Hit next. And this is where you have to now upload all of the information that you need. One, you need to choose your ID card. So this person needs to browse, find where the ID card is and put it up. Again, the following files are accepted: PDF, doc. So PDF, Word documents, PNG, which have picture, JPEG and JPEG, the two forms of JPEG. So you have to put in your ID card, the recommender certification form, the applicant's ID card, so the recommender's ID card, which is why I had to send my ID card to the person yesterday, the recommender's form, the applicant's ID card, the applicant's front and back of the of their ID card, proof of business, so you have to choose what you are doing, whether it is a registration certificate or whatever. Remember, they said you have to send 2 proof of business and any additional proof of business that you want to send. Yeah, you hit next, and then you now have to do basically saying, I faith swear that everything that I have written in essence is true and that I agree. Hit signature, and then I hit submit. I'm not going to hit submit here because I have not submitted all of the information and I don't want a partial thing to go in. If you realize here, they're not asking you for email addresses so that you could come back and go back in and that kind of thing. So I do not know that you can come in and go back out of this one. All right. Faith, I see a deadline day for this. If persons don't have all information, what will happen in this situation? Because I know persons may have to wait for employer to send them, and it may, yeah, I don't know. It seems like if the deadline date pass, if the 31st pass, then you're on your own. That is what it seems like. That is what it feels like. That is what it seems like. Yeah. So I just wanted to just share with you that information. So you see that there are two options. If you have your NIS and you've been paying NIS, then you could go with the Ministry of Finance on. If you have not been paying NIS, or if you're self-employed, you could go with the Ministry of Social Development, and that way you can apply. I don't know when they will approve and send you the money. I don't know. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to walk you through the process so that you have an idea how it is. If you are in my district, even if you're not in my district and you need help, please feel free to reach out to me because I am willing to help people walk through the process. It's already difficult. I don't mind helping you walk through the process at all. So that's it. If you have any questions, you could type the questions really quickly and I would see if I can answer them. If not, then I think that's it. Again, if you are at home, try to see if you can get as much help as possible. I don't mind providing help. Any of the other area representatives, they are willing to provide help. My Farley's office has been doing it. Mr. Duke's office has been doing it. My office has been doing it. Zia's, YT, and Pastor Baines. Just ask for us and we would help. I assume that the other 6 are also doing it, but I cannot confirm that they are or not. But I know my team is doing it. Yeah, so again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you. For those who need help, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, message me, and I would help as much as I can. And we go from there. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Share this live with other people who may be interested in learning the process, and we go from there. Hopefully all of us come out of this unscathed. So again, thank you all so much. Have a blessed day.